I grew up in Donora, Pennsylvania, which was a small steel town about 25 miles south of Pittsburgh, and little girls there don't even go to college. So I went to Harvard. I was the first person ever from Donora to go to Harvard. I went to Harvard and I went to Harvard Law School. I came back to Pittsburgh, which has been phenomenal for me. My practice is at Reed Smith, where I specialize in nonprofit organizations, and you could not have a better city than Pittsburgh to do nonprofits. Pittsburgh has amazing nonprofits that do extraordinary things in the city to better the quality of life there, and I've had the chance to work with them while they did all these wonderful things, and it has been eye-opening and such a pleasure.
I have a couple projects that I think that at the end of my career I will look back on and be most proud of. The one had to do with a women's college, and it was a program that we funded initially, and it was called Wilson Women with Children, and it helped women, some were young, who had children and were unmarried but bright and deserving of a college education. And some women were middle-aged that were divorced or widowed with children, and they knew they needed to complete their education to provide for their families. And we really had the opportunity to change lives of not just the woman or the young woman, but also her children.
I actually came to Philadelphia about 29 years ago. By myself with 2 suitcases, and I literally did not know anyone in the city. I came to be a lawyer for the poor in community legal services in Philly, and really from day one wanted to make a huge difference. From there I had the opportunity to become Child Welfare Commissioner for the city of Philadelphia. I was very, very passionate about children and families and their well-being. Then I had the opportunity to be president of United Way, which was just another incredibly rewarding role where we raised over $50 million a year to help nonprofits in the southeastern Pennsylvania region. And last but not least, for the last 6 years, I've been a principal at Vanguard, where I help people invest better. And we help people through low cost and through discipline and smart investing achieve their retirement goals.
When I landed in Philadelphia, right out of graduate school and out of teaching, I was so fortunate to be in the heart of Philadelphia, but at the time of the bicentennial of the Declaration of Independence. I was there just in time to get to work personally on the Constitutional Convention bicentennial, which created our Constitution, and later on a National Constitution Center that is built on Independence Mall. I guided for 15 years in the marvelous Philadelphia Museum of Art, had opportunities in other museums, such as a museum of medicine at the College of Physicians, to synchronize 2 years ago with the Battle of Gettysburg, to do a Medicine in the Civil War exhibition, and subsequently to end up on the governing board of the National Endowment for the Humanities on their National Council for 13 years.
I have been in higher education for 17 years and really have devoted my career to access and opportunities for women in particular. I've led 2 women's colleges in my career. The first was Dean of Douglas College at Rutgers University, and I was there for 6 years. And now I'm in my 7th year leading Cedar Crest College, and Cedar Crest College is an historic women's college in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And we have a variety of majors that encourage young women to succeed at the highest levels in whatever field they choose.
I grew up in Pittsburgh, and my parents truly taught me how to respect every person, treat everybody the same. And I've lived not all over the world, mainly in Southern Africa, Eastern Southern, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Mozambique. And I've lived and worked in refugee camps, in poor townships, and I worked in the office of the President of Zimbabwe. And truly, I treated everybody equally because of that lesson I learned from my parents. So I feel very blessed that I've had this international experience, and now as president of Maryknoll Sisters, we're about 500 sisters in 22 countries. And again, all over the world, we work with the less fortunate, with the poor, with the oppressed, and especially women and children. We give a special focus to women and children.
My career has been basically in a lot of nonprofits, and so I was board chair of the Pittsburgh Children's Museum and led the museum through a $32 million capital campaign. And we built a new museum and became change agents in a really depressed neighborhood. It's because of the work that I had done at the Children's Museum that they wanted me to become the next board chair of Point Park University. And then now for the past 3.5 years, I've been the board chair, and we are leading a capital campaign to build a new Pittsburgh Playhouse, which is mission critical for the school.
My mother had a cancer, and that really brought me into my full-time caregiver position, actually. So that, with that, I felt the urgent need of a home health agency. My mother could not find a home health aide she could hire to stay home. So I created that home health agency under my previous nonprofit, Women's Development, and that was 2004. Now my nonprofit, Pan Asian Senior Service, hires about 450 people, caring about 500 people. And I'm very happy to help people, but I have so much more to do in the future.
My hope is that this continued networking of all of these talented women from the Western region, the Central region, and the Eastern region is also provides mentorship and support for younger women who are entering their professions or entering their community service, because I think that's really, almost all of these women are involved in some kind of service. These women, almost to a person, are people who roll up their sleeves to get something done, and they work very well together.
I'm proud. I'm proud.
I'm grateful.
I'm humbled.
I'm energized.
I am humbled and honored.
I am so fortunate.
I was amazed and I am very honored and pleased.
You feel deeply proud that someone thought you worthy to join this group, but also, I think, humbled with the notion that you have to live up to the expectations of what I think it means to be a distinguished daughter.